Hello, this is a tutorial on how to make your iRacing liveries completely symmetrical from one side of the car to the other. So I'm working on this livery in Photoshop here, and I've got all of my decals on the left side. So these ones you see here, and this one, and these ones on the side pod here. These are all placed and I'm happy with how they look. I've got the model viewer open here. I can see all of these are fine, so I'm happy with how these look. Not this one on the wing, but these ones here. So what I'm going to do is I want to basically create a template that I can use for placing the decals on the right side. So I've got all of my decals on the left side in this folder here. So if I click the visible button, you can see that the ones on the left side disappear. And next, what I'm going to do, in order to create a template, I'm going to use a keyboard shortcut, which is to hold down Control, Alt, Shift, and then press E. And what that does is it creates a layer in Photoshop with all of the currently visible layers. So if I hold Alt and click on this, so now this is the only visible layer, but you can see that all of that information is still in there. So I'm going to hold Alt and click on that again to make all the layers visible again. Now I just want this bottom part visible, so what I'm going to do is just select the bottom part and then hit Control J. That just sends the selection to a new layer, and then I can delete this first layer. So this is going to be my template, this layer here, as you can see. So what I'm going to do is go to Edit and then Transform and then Flip Vertical. And the good thing about iRacing livery files is that they are completely symmetrical when working on one side of the car to the other. It's different when you're working with wings and different parts of aero, but the actual chassis is completely symmetrical in almost all cases, I think. So I've got my flipped template here, so what I'm going to do is drag this up and just look for a fairly distinctive part of the wireframe to get this matched up with. So I can see this shape here is quite distinctive, so what I'm going to do is try and get that lined up, and what I can do is actually use the arrow keys just to nudge that into place. So that's perfectly lined up there. I can see there are no kind of little weird bits of wireframe sticking out or anything, so that looks good to me. So now I've got a template with all of my decals flipped over onto the right side of the car. So now what I can do is go back to my left side decals folder here. I'm going to give this layer a descriptive name first, so right side template. So I've got my left side decals folder here, and what I'm going to do is right click on that, click on duplicate group. I'm going to call it right side. I'm going to position this group so that it's above the template that we've just created. And then what I'm going to do is with each of these decals in this folder, I'm going to move it up so that it's on the right side. So as you can see, I've just moved that Bridgestone decal there. And then I'm going to go to Edit, Transform, Rotate 180 degrees, and I'm just going to nudge that into place so that it's perfectly aligned with the decal on the template. So that's one. And then I'm going to do this Kyosho one. So I've got a few in a line here, so what I'm going to do is actually select multiples. So I've got that Kyosho, NGK, KTC, KYB, that Keihin one can come as well. So I'm now going to hold down Shift and just drag these up, and holding down Shift makes it so that the layers only move in one line. So if I move the mouse from side to side here, they won't move side to side, they only move up and down. So I'm going to drop that into the correct place. And then with each of these individual layers, I'm just going to go through, go to Edit, Transform, Rotate 180 degrees, and again just nudge that into place so that it's perfectly lined up. Okay, so I've got all of these decals placed here, apart from one, which is this Castrol logo on the side pod, so I'm just going to do that now. Now on the left side, this is actually slightly off axis, so it's not completely like straight, kind of like these ones are. So in order to get this symmetrical on the right side, I'm going to drag it up and then rotate it through 180 degrees. And so you can see that that doesn't quite line up properly, so I'm just going to while I've got the move tool, I'm just going to rotate this slightly so that it's about the same alignment as the one underneath. It's quite difficult to see there, but I can see that's not quite perfect. Just about there looks okay. It's up to you how precise you want to get with this. Obviously for me that looks fine, so I'm just gonna go with that. That's okay. So I've got all of those decals placed now, so what I can do is go back to my template layer here and just turn that off, and then if I turn off the actual wireframe as well, you can see that all of those decals are now placed in exactly the right position on the right hand side of the car. So I hope that's been helpful for you, and I will see you next time.